Hello, I'm Joni. Welcome to a walkthrough today. I thought I'd do a catch up on what I was doing for May in my sketchbooks. And I'm going to start with my Royal Talons, my favorite sketchbooks. So I did this little pigeon. I don't know. I love pigeons. I've always loved pigeons. And then I saw that they were sacred to all the great mothers and queens. A lot of the goddesses are shown with pigeons. And I kind of don't like blank space in my sketchbooks, so I did this. This was in acrylic and then I think some colored pencil and some neocolors. And then we will skip to, I think the last day I showed was 4/2. So this is what I did on the 5th of April. So this will be a catch up for the end of April, or what I haven't shown for April and then May. So I use Tombows, I use gouache, colored pencil, and neocolors. And I will often swatch the colored pencils that I used, but I kind of don't keep track of the other media that I'm using. This was all colored pencil, I believe gouache and colored pencil. Most of them are mixed media. So I did this house. I did it fast. It's pretty wonky. And I really noticed I was experimenting with laying some acrylic down in the background, but I wasn't really paying attention to what colors I was using. So the tone was a little off, and I decided on this little end swatch over here to see if I went with the cooler tone, if that was doing it. And doing some more colored pencil work on a swatch page. This was colored pencil, and I laid down some Tombows first, which bled through on the back of the page, which I don't care to see. And so if I have a scrap paper, I'll do a little artwork on a scrap and then tape it in over the page, just so I don't have to see it. Normally, I do put tissue paper in between, because you can see I wasn't doing it at first in a couple of pieces of the art. I know this is a sketchbook. I like it neat. That's just my personal preference. So I started putting tissue paper in between all the pages. After I do this walkthrough, I will put them back in. Because this was so dark and I went over so many times, it really bled through on this page. And, you know, here again, I didn't put it in, and then this got all muddied up, and I actually got a little water on here too, and it caused it to bleed. But these Royal Talons, they don't like water, so even just trying to clean that up a little bit pilled the paper. But that's one of my favorite. That's gouache and colored pencil, I believe. So here I used markers again. See, it does this bleed through, which I don't like visually. Was testing out, I've had some Derwent Color Soft pencils for quite many years. And it had been a long time since I had used them, and so I was just swatching the colors here. Flowers and flowers, always. I love flowers inside and out. Oh, take that one out too. So this says, but what people are really doing when they tell these tales is weaving the old magic. That was Lily Hayward from A Midwinter's Tale. And this is gouache. And then I was swatching some Derwent Light Fast pencils, and I wanted something other than just plain swatches, so I did these little houses. And then our family went on a walk, and we came across a little doxie named Penny, and so I decided, my daughter had had dachshunds when she was younger, and I love doxies. And so I decided to paint one, and I made this into a sticker. And then this takes us through, I think that's the last of May in that sketchbook. And then I've just got a couple of pieces in this sketchbook. I really like this format. I like all these sketchbooks. It'll probably take me forever to do a sketchbook walkthrough complete because I work in so many different sketchbooks. So this was the 23rd of April. And then this was, I worked over a couple of days actually. I started doing some pansies. This was over May 22nd and 23rd, and then this was the 23rd. I got these lovely pigment art pens. They're the Staedtler pigment pens, and I really, really like them. I started out with this set, and then I bought another set of 24. So that's all I have for that sketchbook. And then in my B Watercolor Super Deluxe, not watercolor, it's a mixed media, but it also is for wet media. I did, this is one of our favorite parks. And then I just wanted to do some gouache flowers, try that. So I think those were the only 2 days. That was from earlier, I was doing sigils. And then I started for June. And then I also have a Stillman and Byrne Zeta series. It's a strange, it's really thick paper, and I'm a little uncomfortable with it, but it works really well for wet media, and it's a bright white paper. I did this in May, and then I did these cats in May. That was all for that one. And then I did another walkthrough of another sketchbook that I have of these Canson XLs. I don't like this paper. I ended up using it for swatches. These are where most of my swatches are. I started out with these grid swatches, and see, I put the paper in between because the colored pencil will smear. But so the only thing I'm using this sketchbook for, I did use it for art before. There's art in here in the beginning, and I was writing down a lot of quotes. But now it's for, like, these are my water pencils. So Caran d'Arche, Faber-Castell. So it's Goldfaber and Albrecht Dürer. Excuse my absolutely massacring those names. Derwent watercolor, and I have a lot of Cretacolor, Aqua Relief. I think you can't get these anymore. Some of my supplies I've had for a very, very long time. So that's all I'm using this sketchbook for, but I did a lot of swatching in May, and that brings me to this Royal Talons. And I know this is gonna bother some people because I've actually taped in the tissue. But so this was, I decided I didn't like those grids anymore. And I had gotten so many more pencils that they weren't really even in kind of, I don't do exact order, but I like to group colors so I can say when I'm looking for a blue, here's my Holbein blues. Here's I have a few Pablos. I don't have too many of those. This is my Luminance. same thing. I kind of try to consistently put them all in the same range, so I know when I go to any given page. This is the drawing. This is the Light Fast. I really love these pencils. They're the colors I like, they're muted, they're beautiful, they're soft. I also, of course, really like the Luminons, but I love Holbein. I would put that above Luminance for my own personal preference, but the Derwent Drawing and the Derwent Light Fast are something I really love. From a long time ago, I had a lot of Prismacolor Premiers. These pencils are probably decades old. And same with my Polychromos. These are actually my least favorite pencil. I really like the color range. I will use them. It works well on the Royal Talons. This is a Royal Talons Art Creations. But they're just drier and scratchier in my opinion. And then I had a few Rembrandt Polycolors. These are really old too, but they're nice soft colors. They're really soft pencils and I like them. And then I swatched the 6901s Neo Arts that I have to date. I've ordered more. That should be here this coming week. I have some Neocolor 1s. I kind of just filled in Neocolor 1s around my Neocolor 2s. I really love Neocolor crayons. I really love them. So I have a lot of them. And then these are the pigment brush pens. So these pens are great because they're really nice brush tip, small brush tip heads. They're not like the big Tombos. I love the Tombos too, but specifically I got them because they don't have as much show through on the Art Creations. So I think that's what I did for May. And like I said, I did a lot of swatching, some art. I've started in for June, but it's been a slow month, and some months are just like it. Like that. I like it that way. So thank you for joining me here today. I hope you get to do some creative endeavors. If you hear my family in the background, it's Sunday, and we're getting ready for a birthday party next week. So there's a lot of activity going on. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Oh, excuse the car. So I guess I'll wrap that up. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.